Welcome to the program. I'm Charlie Rose. The program is Charlie Rose the Week. Just ahead, we'll have an exclusive interview with speech-language pathologist and Usher syndrome expert, Paige Anderson. Speech-language pathologists are experts on assessing, diagnosing, and treating speech, language, and other communication disorders. I'm pleased to have Paige Anderson joining us tonight. Paige, let's start by getting an idea of what Usher syndrome is.
Sure, Charlie. So Usher syndrome is the #1 cause of deaf blindness in humans, but it only occurs in around 3 to 6% of people who are deaf and hard of hearing. Approximately 4 out of every 100,000 babies are born in the U.S. with Usher syndrome. It's a genetic disease caused by mutations on genes in the body. People who have Usher syndrome have permanent sensorineural hearing loss from birth and develop progressive degenerative vision loss as early as prepubescent childhood. The vision loss is caused by a disorder called retina pigmentosa, which causes structures in the retina to lose their function. Their vision loss causes tunnel vision, possible blind spots, and in most cases, eventual blindness. There are 3 types of Usher syndrome, and each type presents a little differently. Unfortunately, there's no cure for Usher syndrome at this time.
Now, Paige, you're a specialist in speech, language, and communication. Tell our audience about how Usher syndrome can affect a child's speech, language, and communication abilities.
I'd be happy to, Charlie. So first off, children who are deaf and hard of hearing acquire language at a slower rate than children who don't have hearing problems. Children with Usher syndrome typically benefit from the use of hearing aids or cochlear implants, but these devices don't fully remedy their hearing problems. This means that their ability to communicate with their family, friends, teachers, classmates will be impacted at times and can be limited. Children with Usher syndrome will also need to learn alternative forms of communication, such as the use of American Sign Language. As they grow up and their vision problems do progress, they'll also need to learn alternative forms of communicating through reading and writing, such as the use of Braille.
Now, Paige, tell me what your role as a speech-language pathologist is in treating children with Usher syndrome.
Well, we as speech-language pathologists have a few roles, Charlie, when working with children with Usher syndrome. So first, we want to assess their speech, language, social skills, and communication abilities. We want to determine effective forms of communication that they can use presently, as well as forms that they can use as the symptoms of their disease progress. We develop a treatment plan to maximize their effective communication skills, and often we recommend the use of a total communication approach, and the child and those around them communicate with all means of communication that's available to them, such as sign language, gestures, body language, Braille, assistive, listening, and vision devices, and spoken language if possible. The speech-language pathologist will also collaborate as a team with other professionals such as an audiologist, ophthalmologist, physical therapist, occupational therapist, their teachers at school. Whoever else is involved besides us will want to be collaborating in terms of making the best plan of care. Lastly, the speech-language pathologist will educate the child's family and other team members about effective ways to communicate with the child with Usher syndrome.
That's wonderful. It sounds like you as the speech-language pathologist play a really important role in these children's lives. Lastly, why don't you tell us about what kinds of modifications need to be made when these kids get ready to go in school, like preschool? What kind of modifications need to be made for them?
Great question, Charlie. When these children are young and around preschool age, they need several modifications at school and really at home too. First, they need more time to process information than other children do. The teacher should wait for a reaction from the child to make sure that they're understanding and perceiving the information that's being presented to them before the teacher presents more. Next, in order to present information at a range that is perceptible to the child in terms of their hearing and with their vision, if that's a problem at a young age, the children should be given preferential seating in the classroom. And the teacher should make sure that there's good lighting in the classroom and use high contrast information when information is presented visually. Information should always be presented in a consistent way as well. Additionally, a buddy should be assigned to the child to serve as their guide. Teachers should make sure that they alert the child to any changes in the schedule or routine of the classroom, and especially if they've rearranged any furniture in the classroom. I could go on, but I know that we've only got so much time here. So I think those are the most important take-home points for modifications that should be made in the classroom.
Indeed we do, unfortunately. This has been truly informative, Paige. I had no idea about the intricacies of a disorder like Usher syndrome. Thank you for joining us, Paige Anderson. Now, for a look at the week ahead.